Hey Sam, I've been going through our recent recovery operations, and I think we need to take a more structured approach. We often jump in as if we're still in rescue mode, but recoveries give us the time to plan carefully, which we really should be doing for both safety and efficiency.
I agree, Liz. The mindset for recoveries needs to be different. In a rescue, we prioritize speed within acceptable risks, but with recoveries, speed isn't as crucial. The priority should be minimizing risk, even if it takes longer.
Exactly. The first step should always be to assess the situation thoroughly. We need to figure out which direction the stuck object needs to be pushed or pulled, and how we're going to bring it to shore once it's free. This is all before we even think about attaching lines or placing team members.
And then we have to consider where to attach lines and how to position our rescuers. We also need to think about any downstream hazards and decide if we need a lookout upstream to warn other paddlers about potential dangers, like lines or obstacles in the water.
Communication is crucial here. The plan must be clear, and every team member needs to know their role and who they report to. Most importantly, the leader should remain detached from the physical work to maintain an overview of the entire operation.
If the team is small, though, the leader might have to get involved in the recovery. In that case, they should take on the least demanding job, the one that allows them to keep the whole situation in view.
When it comes to attaching a line, safety is paramount. If a rescuer can paddle, wade, or swim to attach a line without putting themselves at risk, that's great. But if there's any real risk involved, we need to find another way. If it's too dangerous, we should leave the gear and come back later when conditions are safer or when we have the right equipment.
We could use paddle hooks to attach lines remotely. These can be improvised, and don't necessarily have to be attached to a paddle. Using a canoe pole or even a piece of driftwood could extend our reach. Drift lines are another option. We could float a line down the current so that it catches on the object, then recover the free end and pull it tight.
That's a good approach. Weighted lines are another option. They work like drift lines, but are better at going under objects. Once the line is deployed, we could use a single line cinch or a two-line cinch to effectively lasso the object.
That's smart. And when we're thinking about moving the object, we should try to work with natural forces, like the current or gravity. Often, the object can't be moved because we're pulling or pushing in the wrong direction. A good rule is to pull at a 45 degrees angle to the flow of the current.
Absolutely. If the boat is broached off-center, the current might be exerting more pressure on one side, making it easier to pull the boat to that side so it pivots. But the exact direction to pull might not be obvious right away. We might need to experiment a bit to find the best angle.
And if the boat is center broached, where the current applies equal pressure on both sides, we could try lifting one end clear of the water or lifting from a different angle using ropes. If the current is weak, we might be able to pull it off in either direction, so we should choose the side that's easiest to work from.
With rafts, if we deflate the air tubes on one side, we can control which side of the raft the current pushes against, giving us more control over the recovery. For rafts stuck in a wrap, we can use the peel and pull technique. Pulling parallel to the broach angle can slide the raft off the obstruction, especially if we use a Z-drag system inside the raft to prevent it from sagging around the rock.
That's a good point. For two-point broaches, sometimes it's as simple as lifting one end of the boat over one of the two obstacles it's stuck on. This can be straightforward enough that a single rescuer can handle it.
And for vertical pins, where the bow of a kayak is trapped behind a ledge, we usually just need to pull the boat back a bit to free it. Sometimes, though, we might need to change the direction of pull by running a line through a pulley attached to a tree branch or something similar.
I've also found that vector pulls can be really effective when a rope is already tensioned but not working. By pulling at a 90 degrees angle to the tension rope, we can multiply the force exerted on the line by 3 or 4 times, and it also changes the pull direction slightly.
And in wrap situations, especially with rafts or open boats, we can roll the boat over so that the bottom faces the current, reducing the surface area exposed to the water's force. This not only helps the boat move but also acts as a form of mechanical advantage.
Yes, the rollover technique can be combined with other tactics, like using multiple lines for pulling and pivoting the boat. Sometimes, combining several techniques is the only way to get a really stuck boat free.
That's why it's so important to take the time to assess and plan. Every situation is different, and rushing in without a clear plan can make things worse. By considering all our options and working together, we can recover the gear safely and efficiently.
Agreed. Staying calm, thinking through the problem, and using the right combination of techniques is what will get us through tough recoveries. Let's make sure we're always approaching these situations with the right mindset and strategy.